A-line celebration delayed. The train to the plane needs more time to fix its shifting gears. Senator Bennett comes uncorked over health care, while the Trump administration says sanctuary cities like Denver endanger lives.
Gang members walk out of county jails and sanctuary cities every day.
A member of the next team shares a personal challenge. And Jefferson County government was not happy when we asked about what appears to be their rattlesnake-infested smoking area. Next.
A-line, you were so close. We really thought RTD would not have to go to the federal government and ask for another extension to fix the crossing problems that have plagued the train to the plane since it opened. But RTD has now asked the feds for more time, for the fourth time. It wasn't easy to pry this info out of him. Our Marshall Zellinger has been working on it all week and has ended up awash in alphabet soup.
You know what's better than alphabet soup, Kyle, is not hearing the A-line blast its horns in what should be quiet zones in the neighborhoods to and from DIA. But what most of you may not realize is that even when RTD gets the approval of FRA, the horns don't go away until the PUC says so. Let's start with RTD. On Monday and Tuesday, we were told no waiver had been submitted yet, meaning there was slight hope the feds were convinced the problems were solved on the crossing arms and the safety system known as positive train control. This afternoon, RTD initially told me it requested a waiver on the B line to Westminster, but not the A line. But the FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration, spilled the beans, or I guess the soup. RTD had in fact requested a waiver for the A and B lines. FRA will decide by Sunday if it will grant the waiver. In a statement, an FRA spokesman wrote, Denver RTD continues to make significant progress on the performance of the grade crossings on both lines. Which brings us to the PUC, the Colorado Public Utilities Commission, which needs to approve the crossings separate from the feds. Until the PUC gives the okay, the flaggers will stay and the horns will sound. Once the PUC does say okay, cities and counties have to apply for quiet zones. The waiver RTD filed with the FRA reads a little different this time. It's to allow for the, quote, review and approval of the measurement and performance criteria document. Essentially, that means approving that the horns or that the train arms go down when they're supposed to and for how long they're supposed to. But like I said, that happens separately, Kyle, from what the PUC wants to hear for the quiet zones.
Do you have an SOL in that bowl of soup?
I have a W and a T, and I think there's another letter.
Yeah, gotcha. Understood. All right. Very good. Marshall Zellinger, thank you. Hey, we can't leave you hanging on whether the A-line's working today. You know, we've been saying it's been doing really well lately. Answer today, sorta. It's functioning, but there's track maintenance work scheduled for overnight. That'll slow down riders by 5 to 15 minutes. America's top immigration enforcer says sanctuary cities encourage human trafficking, which can lead to the deaths of people trying to come here illegally. And he also says that sanctuary cities put immigration agents at greater risk of dying in the line of duty. By the Trump administration's definition, Denver and Aurora are sanctuary cities. The city leaders would disagree. Tom Homan, who is acting director of ICE, spoke from the White House podium today, saying that human smugglers promise to get people to sanctuary cities where the cities will then protect them from deportation. And he said that cities like Denver, which won't allow ICE agents into their jail without a warrant, put law enforcement lives at risk.
So rather than arresting a violent criminal in the safety, security, and privacy of a county jail, we got to go knock on the door. We got to arrest them in the community. The community's put at risk, our officers are put at risk, and the alien himself is put at risk. We got to start thinking about public safety and the men and women of ICE, and the men and women of the Border Patrol, who we've lost many over the last few years at the hands of violent criminal aliens.
I took that concern to Aurora Police Chief Nick Metz, who was scheduled to join us here but had a last-minute conflict. So we spoke by phone, where he told me that Aurora is willing to help ICE agents who are facing dangerous situations.
We have made it very clear to our local ICE office that if they need us for officer safety assistance, for anything like that, obviously we're going to be there for them. We're not going to leave them in a lurch and put them in any kind of danger. But as far as the actual enforcement of immigration and solely for immigration, where you're not investigating these folks for any other crime or other violation, they understand that we and most, if not all, of the law enforcement agencies in the metropolitan region are abiding by the same policy.
We'd invited Chief Metz on to discuss another topic that's making headlines from the White House to Colorado. Our transgender neighbors who want to serve and protect. President Trump says they are no longer welcome in the military. Too expensive, he says, and too distracting. Chief Metz welcomed them to work public safety in Aurora, tweeting today, "To our trans community, if U.S. military won't take you, Aurora PD will. We need officers, dispatchers, CSI, admin, etc." I asked Chief Metz whether his statement today was about public relations or public safety. He pointed to the tweet and APD's participation in Denver's Pride Parade as evidence of both.
And we don't do that just to, show off the cars. We do that because we want folks to see us as an organization that's approachable, an organization that they can have confidence in, that is going to be fair and objective in how it does its law enforcement. And so community engagement and outreach is a huge part of public safety.
Chief Metz says APD does not currently have an openly transgender employee. Aurora police say a former detective was supported through the gender reassignment process while on the force. And the city told us that gender change is covered by their employee insurance plan with some exclusions. A skinny margarita is a way to get wasted without the calories. Senate Republicans' skinny repeal is a way to waste a chance to reform Obamacare without fulfilling their campaign promise. Tonight, we could see a vote on the partial repeal of the ACA to remove the government mandate to buy insurance. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, a Democrat, could no longer contain his frustration today over this process.
What I deeply regret about this debate is the end product, whether we pass this bill or whether we don't, is not going to improve health care for the people I represent. And again, my starting point is there are people that like the Affordable Care Act, there are people that don't like the Affordable Care Act, but everybody is deeply dissatisfied, as they should be, with the way our health care system works.
If you missed yesterday, our politics guy Brandon Ritteman interviewed Colorado's Republican Senator Cory Gardner, tried to pin him down on just what kind of repeal and replace plan he supports, and you can see that full unedited interview on next YouTube page. There's been a lot of talk about Bell's palsy recently. Angelina Jolie revealed that she had it last year. Bell's palsy is caused by nerve damage to a facial nerve. It causes one side of the face to droop, a temporary facial paralysis. There's someone on the next team who is currently fighting that battle. Our visual producer, Cody Broadway, shares his perspective.
My name is Cody, and I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy.
I can no longer move my right eyebrow up. Having trouble speaking. Yeah, it's just kind of scary.
Whenever I was first diagnosed with Bell's palsy, they told me it would take about 10 days for me to fully heal. Unfortunately, we are now in week 11, going on 12. Looking at me straight on, you can't tell, but whenever I start to show expression, that's when it really starts to show. The right side of my face is basically like paralyzed. I can't move it. The biggest obstacle has been looking at myself in the mirror, honestly. That has really been the biggest struggle, going back and looking at things and seeing that I don't have the smile that I used to. And honestly, when I approach people and I'm talking to them, sometimes it's hard for people to understand me because I have trouble saying P's and B's, and I have to really think about it. So that's really been the biggest struggle. I can't thank my family enough for the support that they have given me, my wife and my kids, especially my son, my oldest. He now likes to mimic my smile, and he likes to smile like Daddy. And, just that little gesture, it really means a lot to me, to have my son want to be like me, even though that I look like this. It really means the world to me.
Music unlocked the world for him. Now he's handing them the key. A football team building something with bricks.
We carry it everywhere we go. It represents that everyone brings their part to the game, everyone brings their part to practice.
And if you want to smoke outside the Jefferson County Courthouse, you may have company. Snakes! That's next. Hand a kid an instrument and an opportunity to learn music, and you might just be giving them the chance to break out of their shell and newly engage with the world. That's what I did for a high schooler in Littleton, who told our Steve Steger that he's determined to give other kids the same chance.
The sound of a handful of high school students tuning in a library is best described as organized chaos.
You can sit right here while we wait for everybody else, okay?
Luckily, this group has a solid organizer.
Listen in, please. It's called the Instrumental Open House. What's your name?
Addie.
It's a program designed to interest and enable students to be able to play instruments of their choosing.
This is Ethan Perry's service project to become an Eagle Scout. It's a project in two parts. First, collecting used instruments and money for his alma mater, Runyon Elementary's band program.
For many kids who are even in lower economic situations than I was, they don't have the opportunity to buy an instrument, and for that reason, you know, money can stop somebody from enjoying music.
Being able to lower those expenses, I think, is going to help expose a lot of these kids to more opportunities with these sort of instruments.
The second part of his project is a summer clinic of sorts. Ethan says it's a chance to share the passion for music he's felt for years.
It broke me out of my shell, and it made me more ready to take on things in the real world. You having fun?
Yeah.
Good.
And it's a mission that makes his old band teacher proud.
My idea as a teacher is, will they carry on and do things when you are no longer there in whatever you're teaching? And obviously Ethan has done that and maintained that.
All right, you're right down here, bud.
For Next, I'm Steve Steger.
Ethan has already collected 40 used instruments along with close to $4,000 to repair them.
A little warmer, a little drier today. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Some of you, though, may be in for another round of heavy rain yet this evening. Our high temperature close to the average of 80, not in record territory, and we'll continue to see highs in the 80s right into the upcoming weekend. Slow-moving storms are coming off the foothills right now, mainly to the south of the city, producing brief heavy downpour, thunder, and lightning. The flash flood watch has been extended south of Colorado into New Mexico and northern Texas tonight. Along that front, which has been moving south, some stronger storms are likely to form, and with light steering winds aloft, that means slow-moving storms. The biggest threat will not be hail tonight, it will be heavy rain, but the activity not nearly as widespread as what we saw last night, where we had reports of 1 to 4 inches of rain from Denver down to Parker, Highlands Ranch, Castle Rock, and Franktown. Tonight, isolated showers and partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 60s. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high near 90, a late day storm likely. Better chance of storm coverage on Saturday with comfortable readings as we move into the weekend. Decent travel weather for you today and for you tomorrow on I-70. Pretty picture up there tonight.
There's so many things and so many ways I think you can take lessons from football and apply them to life.
A football team bulks up for the season, roughly a brick's worth of weight for each player. And the sign is funny, but a county government's response to it is hysterical. That's next. The foundation of the football program at Mountain Vista High School is hard work, dedication, all the usual stuff. But the foundation is also bricks, real bricks. Our Noel Brennan takes us to the team's summer camp in Idaho Springs.
Get some more paint.
This might be a confusing start.
I don't even know what I'm doing right now.
To a high school football practice.
Yeah, no, it's different. I don't know anybody else that does something similar.
But there's a lesson learned in painting.
I mean, I like the green and white. I think it looks clean.
Before putting on pads.
I have a cross on mine. I'm a big man in faith.
The brick, senior Tristan Smith decorates.
Almost done.
He'll have to carry all season long.
I mean, sophomore year, I dropped my brick and it broke. So you still have to carry both pieces of the brick everywhere you go.
See who can last the longest. Got it?
Yeah!
Line them up.
Coach Rick Cash's players have been painting bricks for the past 17 seasons.
Down on the whistle, back on the whistle.
One side painted to reflect the player, the other to reflect the team.
Cody, go ahead. You all right, man?
Yeah, all right, Cody.
Well done, well done.
like bricks stacked in formation.
You cannot cut corners. You cannot bring half effort.
These players are stronger together.
And if we're better individually, we're better collectively. And you guys know that's the whole brick thing.
A lesson learned at the start of practice. One they can carry off the field.
You know, there's so many things and so many ways I think you can take lessons from football and apply them to life.
For Next, I'm Noel Brennan.
Players carry those donated Acme bricks to practices and games. They stack up the bricks and put their mascot, a golden eagle, right at the top.
It's a sign, a couple of them, spotted by next viewer Timothy Arguello outside the Jefferson County Courthouse. The sign on the far right says, "No smoking." That middle sign points the way for smokers. Smoking area this way. And the arrow points to the left, where there's a sign reading, "Caution, rattlesnakes in area." It would appear that Jefferson County is really serious about discouraging smoking.
We called the county just to make sure that the signs were for real. And we got back one of the most hysterically overwrought PR responses of all time. I want to read this to you, okay? The signs pictured are outside the JeffCo Courts and Admin building. However, we encourage accurate reporting on this. A full picture of the building would show that the designated smoking area is about 200 feet away from the location of the photo. It goes on and on. We did move the rattlesnake warning sign this afternoon to a location farther away from the other signs. And that's good, but JeffCo is still mad as a rattlesnake that we find this funny. The county's official statement continues. The county's actual programs and campaigns around smoking, which we refer to as the tobacco prevention programs, are provided through Jefferson County Public Health. We would encourage that if you're going to cover tobacco issues on 9 News, that accurate information regarding the positive impact in the community JeffCo's tobacco prevention programs have is portrayed. JeffCo, relax. Go outside and get a little fresh air. Smoke a cigarette if that'll help you calm down. Just watch out for those snakes. So I'm not sure if we have mentioned this here before, but flying certain airlines or working for certain airlines can be a bit challenging, which is why we are happy to show you that working in aviation doesn't have to be a slog. Look at this guy who's working out at DIA. He is living his best life. That is not easy work out there, long hours on your feet, but look at him jamming out. If you look closely, you might be able to tell which airline he works for. I don't want to say it out loud lest I be accused of favoritism. Let's just say that my favorites are the people who do their jobs with joy. Speaking of people who do their jobs with joy, a ton of you have written in tonight with encouragement and prayers and feedback for our Cody Broadway, who bravely shared his ongoing battle with Bell's palsy. I want to share one. Lana Anderson writes, "My heart goes out to Cody. I had Bell's palsy 11 years ago. I understand his obstacles and frustration. Sending healing prayers." And so many of you are doing the same. You got it, man. You got it. We'll see you next time.